everyone. I hope everyone is having an amazing day so far. Today I wanted to share with you my tips and tricks and things that I've learned over the past few years in regards to dressing vintage if you are just starting out doing so. I have been dressing more on the vintage spectrum for probably about 3 or 4 years now, give or take. And I've learned a lot throughout that time that I wanted to share with you so that you can learn from my past experiences, my trials and tribulations, if you will. I personally do not consider myself to be a vintage expert or historian of fashion or anything of that nature. I am just someone who loves old movies, loves the fashion from those old movies, and decided I wanted to dress that way and really adapt to that fashion sense. So with that being said, my first tip, first and foremost, is to watch some vintage and old black and white movies, even like more modern in color movies. But reason being is you will find so much about what you like, what you don't like, and then you can kind of pick and choose how you want to incorporate different trends into your everyday fashion. Personally, I don't really stick necessarily to one era. I just really prefer the more timeless, and I guess, I mean, it's a subjective adjective, but a more elegant fashion sense. Watching old movies can show you how to pair different trends together, create outfits, and then ultimately create your own style. Now, I will say, as you're watching those movies, see pieces that you might already own or similar pieces that you already own and pieces that you might want to purchase in the future, or the types of things you might want to purchase in the future. For me, I owned a lot of nice blouses, button-ups, tie fronts, things of that nature, but I didn't own a lot of skirts. So I knew after watching some of those movies, okay, skirts are something that I need to start investing in. That is a great segue into my next tip, which is get some skirts. Skirts and A-line dresses, even pencil skirts, were a huge fashion trend. I mean, that was something that I saw just about in every movie, was that skirts were huge. But not just any skirts, like the hemline of the skirts are pretty significant. They're always below the knee. So finding that midi or maxi skirts can be kind of challenging, but I have found that thrift stores, Etsy, ThredUp, and even places like TJ Maxx or sometimes Amazon can have options for you. I have primarily purchased all of my skirts from places like TJ Maxx or thrift shops. And I, at this point, tend to always choose skirts that go below the knee. I just found that I like that better for my body shape and also practicality, I guess. But just for me, I love a longer hemline. I will say the A-line skirts are much easier to find than pencil skirts that are a little bit lower in the hemline length. But they can be found, and trust me, when you find them, it is a gem in a basement. It's wonderful. This is probably my favorite pencil skirt right here. It was my first one. I do have to still sew a hook and eye on the top of it, but I absolutely love this pencil skirt. When it comes to blouses, I always recommend going with the classic or more timeless patterns and cuts to them. So button-down blouses are a great option, and most people already have those in their closet, but if not, they're pretty easy to find out in modern clothing if you aren't near a vintage store or a thrift shop. But also boat neck tops can look really nice, and also the necktie or tie neck, I don't really know what the proper verbiage for those are, but those can look really nice as well. And they can have a very nice clean look to them. And pairing them with any skirt can work. I also love sleeveless tops and tops that have detailing on the collar. I absolutely love the little appliques and detailing that collars can have. I think it's a very classic, timeless look. It's great for me. You might like it, you might not like it. But that's truly what finding your own fashion is all about, what works for you and what suits your tastes and preferences. For me, that was going with the more timeless and vintage route when it came to clothing and to shopping. But finding what era you love and what pieces you want to incorporate are a great thing to have. When it comes to dresses, dresses I think are the easiest, at least for me. If I'm having a lazy day, dresses are probably the easiest thing because you don't have to match it to anything except for shoes. You just put it on and you go and you look like you put an outfit together, but secretly you just threw one thing on. But for me, I always try to go with the more timeless cuts similar to the blouses. Pencil dresses are wonderful. This is one that I have with my bell sleeve. I absolutely love this. Would I call it vintage? Probably not, but the cut itself is a very timeless and clean cut, which is why I like it. And then also going with A-line dresses. So this one, the hemline is a little bit shorter, but I love the neckline and I love the shape that this dress has. I think it's fun and it's very springtimey, and I absolutely adore this dress. These are my tips to going a more vintage route, but truthfully, it's all about finding what's going to work with you, work with your lifestyle, and work with your tastes and preferences. For me, I really wouldn't even consider my style to be vintage. I would probably label it as more vintage inspired or timeless. Mostly just because I haven't really done the research, what I consider to be proper research into historical costume and vintage costume and the trends and styles of the time. Like I said in the beginning, I am just someone who loves old movies and decided I wanted to dress more like the ladies of the past than the ladies of the present. Not that I find anything wrong with modern fashion. A lot of it just isn't me, doesn't fit my tastes and preferences. Many of my clothing are modern clothing. They just have more of a vintage-esque look to them. Truthfully, it really just all depends on you and what you want to present yourself as. So if there's anything you can take away from this, do what you love, do what is going to empower you, do what's going to make you feel amazing and make you feel absolutely beautiful. I hope everyone has an amazing rest of the day, and I will see you all very, very soon. Bye!